Two federal judges, in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, have handed down urgent rulings. The Donald Trump administration must continue funding SNAP benefits using contingency reserves, despite the ongoing federal shutdown. For roughly 42 million Americans who rely on food aid, this decision could be the difference between groceries or going hungry. Today we're diving into what actually happened, what it means for you, and why this moment matters far beyond the food stamp aisle. Let's focus on the crisis behind the headlines. The shutdown began on October 1st, as Congress failed to pass full appropriation bills. Numerous federal programs faced funding lapses, including the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA's SNAP program. The USDA announced that starting November 1, payments might stop, citing lack of appropriated funds. That would have marked the first time in the program's 60-year history that benefits were halted because of a shutdown. States, advocates, and food banks sounded alarms. Families pay rent, utilities, groceries. A pause in SNAP payments means cascading pressure on every link in the supply chain. Let's look at what the courts decided. On October 31st, two separate federal judges ruled against the administration's plan to pause benefits. The Massachusetts judge, Indira Talwani, held that the USDA must use its multi-billion-dollar contingency, emergency reserve, funds to keep SNAP moving. In Rhode Island, Judge John J. McConnell Jr. similarly ordered the program not be abruptly cut, citing irreparable harm if food assistance ceased. The rulings highlight two key legal principles. First, that contingency funds can be tapped even during a lapse in appropriations. Second, that the administration's decision to withhold payments was deemed arbitrary under the law. Let's look at why the administration says they can't pay. Well, the USDA argued they lacked legal authority to fund SNAP without fresh appropriations. They contended contingency funds are earmarked for disasters, not program continuation during shutdowns. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins claimed that the emergency allocation wouldn't cover the full cost of a month's benefits, $8 to $9 billion, and warned states of administrative chaos. In a social media post, Trump said his lawyers were seeking court clarity on the legal route to pay SNAP, calling it an honor to provide the funding, if legally allowed. The tension here isn't just financial, it's a legal limbo at the intersection of policy, rights, and bureaucracy. So, who is affected and why it matters? SNAP covers roughly 1 in 8 Americans, around 42 million people. Children, veterans, disabled adults all rely on it. When benefits are delayed, the impact ripples. Food banks face higher demand quicker than they can respond. Grocery supply chains adjust to changed demand patterns. State budgets get stressed as they consider stepping in locally. For low-income families, less food aid means harder choices between bills, medicine, and meals. There's the policy side. How should social safety nets work during political deadlock? Does a shutdown justify halting benefits meant to protect the most vulnerable? And the politics. Democrats warn the administration is using food aid as leverage. Republicans counter that funding programs without appropriations creates precedent and responsibility. The court's decisions shift some power away from Congress and into judicial and executive interpretation, raising questions about where constitutional authority and obligation truly lie. The rulings force the USDA to explain by Monday how they'll comply. States are preparing for partial payments, delays, or variable coverage. Key things to monitor. Will states receive full or partial benefits this month? Will the administration appeal or seek new legal mechanisms? How will this affect future shutdown negotiations and federal programs? From a viewer or citizen perspective, stay informed. If you or someone you know uses SNAP, check your state's updates. If you're a tax-paying voter, consider how policy deadlock intersects with fundamental aid systems. In one sense, this is a story about food stamps and a shutdown. In a deeper sense, it's about how a modern government handles emergencies and who bears the cost when political gridlock meets human need. The court stepped in to keep SNAP flowing, at least for now. But the underlying standoff remains unresolved. Whether you see this as justice preserved, politics exposed, or systems stretched to their limit, the answer may tell us more about American governance than the headline. Thanks for watching. Stay alert, stay informed, and I'll see you next time.